Welcome to January's edition of Breck Buzz. Today I am here with Mark Truckee and Jen McAtamney, and we are going to talk about all things sustainable Breck and our new Breck bag. So welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So to start, we have a new bag, but maybe let's talk a little bit about the inception of the Breck reusable bag, its purpose, why, when, how.
Sure. Well, back in 2013, when the council first adopted the fee, disposable bag fee, we wanted to, at the same time, outreach to both the visitors and locals and say, how are we going to promote the use of reusable bags? Because obviously that was one of the big goals of the bag fee, was dissuade the use of disposable bags, get people using reusable bags. And so we spent a lot of time developing what we hope would be an iconic reusable bag for the community, and I think everyone's seen it. The Breck bag that's available kind of widely throughout town at lodging and welcome center and some retail stores. So anyway, we did that, and we had an artist that developed it, and now we're looking to kind of refresh that after 4 years.
Yeah, because the bag was such a success, right? I mean, it's kind of everywhere. Don't you guys have some strange places where you've seen the Breck bag before?
Both Mark and I have seen it in airports around all over the place. You saw it in Duluth one time. Yeah. I mean, kids are so embarrassed. I was in the Atlanta airport and I'm like chasing this lady. I'm like, oh, she has a Breck bag. I'm taking a picture of it. So
did you talk to her?
No, I didn't know, but she was on her way through security. I didn't want to scare her. But it is amazing that we have, over the last few years, we've gone through over 150,000 of those reusable bags. Wow. So people from all over the world have had the opportunity to take those home, and really we hope, one, bring great memories of their trip here, but then take some of our sustainable practices back to their own communities. So much of the work that we do here is really around we do some stuff really consciously, but we try to make those practices, whether it's, bringing a reusable water bag, not using single-use bags, things that people can learn about while they're here and then bring and practice at home. Yeah. So I think that's really important, because we have opportunity, because we do have so many people coming through our community on an annual basis, to share some of our wisdom and our love for the environment and give them some tips and tools for when they go home.
Yeah. So we have a new version. We have version 1, now we have version 2. Do we want to reveal it?
Well, I think too, we should tell people, it was a pretty big and fun process that we went through. We actually did a call to artists, and we got submissions from 3 artists that had really spectacular bags. We actually mocked them up so we could see what they looked like in 3D. And then through committee work, we had a selection committee, and they were able to choose the final bag. And some of the things that we really liked when we had set the RFP out, we talked about the historic nature of the town. We talked about our love of nature and sports and recreation, and we really think this bag captured it all. So our artist, his name's Andrew Dengate, and he put together this really wonderful bag. It highlights, this side is really the back, actually. So this is really gets to a lot of the recreation that we have. So we have mountain bikers, we have hikers, we have mountain climbers, we have fishermen, kayakers, and then on the other side here, we have the some selected history of Breckenridge. We think this is a really fun interpretation. So here, 1859, gold is found along the Blue River, and a base camp is established that later became known as the town. One of our favorites here, in 1887, that's when Tom's baby was discovered, which is the largest wire gold nugget that's ever been found in the state of Colorado, which is amazing. I don't know, there's a great story, because Tom, the guy who found it, at his claim, he came to town with it wrapped like a baby. That's why they called it Tom's baby. And there's all kinds of legends and stuff around it, but one of the ones that is still unsolved is that when the nugget was transported to Denver, portion of it was lost. So it was weighed and certified up here, but the piece that is now in the Museum of Nature and Science is smaller than what was originally found.
Interesting.
And then we carried that forward a little bit. I'll just jump in here.
Yeah.
In 1950, population had dwindled to 296 people. I mean, we were on the verge of potentially being a ghost town.
What a different town that is than now.
Right. Mining had dried up, but then we found the white gold, 1961, the ski area opened. So those were kind of big events in our chronology. And then we wanted to have something much more current, and so in coincidence with the release of this bag, 2017, and one thing we noted there is that's 20 years since we put our open space program in place, which has really been essential in preserving that landscape around us. It's so important, and
Right.
we talk about 4,700 acres of land that have been preserved since we put that open space tax in place. And 55 miles of new trails have been constructed. So that's those are some pretty big milestones. And 20 years of the program is something that we thought fit in with the chronology here and is more current.
It sure
Right.
does. I also think it's super interesting. We actually, as a town and in partnership with the county, we own more open space than the actual land mass of the town of Breckenridge. I think, it's pretty crazy
Yeah.
when people think about the town. The town's actually a really small little piece.
Yeah.
But we actually, if we count all of our open space, we're twice the size.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing. Also, we have some really fun stuff on the sides
I was
here.
gonna say the animals.
Yeah, this is all the little critters. So, our town moose, our foxes, we got bears. As much as we like to see them from far, we don't like them when they're our garbage. And then some beavers, things we have truly tried to cultivate through our open space program in taking care of Cucumber Gulch. I mean,
Right.
people probably don't know, but a couple of years ago, we actually brought in beaver from other
Really?
places to help maintain the dams up there,
Wow.
which helps maintain the water quality coming through the gulch. And then, a favorite mountain goat, some of those shy creatures that you often see up in Blue Lakes. And then on this other side, we've got one more, really ode to snow sports here. And you can see we've got our Norwegian skier here up at the top, pretty iconic image. And snowboarding, right? Because Breckenridge was one of the first resorts to allow snowboarding. So that's pretty exciting. And then both some people with free heels and alpine. So we think it's a pretty fun bag.
Yeah, I think what's great about it is, it's almost a collectible. People will come and visit Breckenridge and say, that's really cool. That kind of symbolizes Breckenridge. I want to take this home with me.
Yeah, and we make sure that our lodging community has the opportunity to provide these bags for their guests. So while they're staying there, so they don't have to worry when they go to the grocery store about paying the fee. So they can request those at the front desk. Oftentimes, shuttle drivers from a lot different lodging companies will have them on hand, and people can pick these up for 99 cents, usually a buck in town, and they carry a lot of stuff. They're really
I was going to say,
well-made
they're
bags.
durable because I like taking them to the grocery store because I can fit a lot.
You can fit a lot of stuff in them, and they're self-standing.
And speaking of the bottom,
Speaking on the bottom, and speaking of sustainable practices, but part of the thing that we've been working on that campaign, like I said, was sharing some of the practices that we have in town. So here's some tips and tricks. BYO bag. You might have seen on parking kiosks. We're trying to remind people to bring their bags. You might have been into a local bar or drinking established lately and seen some of our BYO bag coasters. We also want to remind people, do the same with water. There's no reason to buy cases and cases of single-use water bottles in our community. The water you're drinking comes from the top of the water food chain. I mean, it was just snow.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and it's coming through town. There is no prescription drugs in our water supply here. And we, of course, always encourage people to reduce, reuse, and recycle, and use the free ride. We've got a great free transportation system. Leave your car at your condo or at the house that you're staying at and take the free ride. It's a much easier way and stress-free way for you to get around town. And if you're going to take the free ride, we really advise you to download the free ride app. You can find it both on Apple and Android. And that you can plan your route on it. It'll tell you when the next bus is coming. It's awesome. And then once again, it's a pretty small place. So sneakers don't hurt too. It's a really walkable community. We've worked really hard in the last few years to make the community as walkable as possible. So, yeah.
And so, how are some ways we can really promote this to our guests? I know that, locals generally know about it and they're excited about the bags, but we also want to get our guests using them.
Yeah, it's really helpful when concierges take a moment to share that people that they might find that when they go in town and they purchase something that they will be asked if they really want a bag because there will be a fee associated with it. It's not to be offensive, but it's really to help remind people that bags have on average about a 10-minute lifespan. Mm-hmm. And so for many things you don't really need a bag, or double up your purchases. So, or get one of these and take it home as a souvenir.
And we've done some research, and it varies, but if you use one of these 8 to say 15 times, it's basically the same carbon footprint as using one plastic bag.
Wow,
So
yeah.
you don't have to use these many times. You've already kind of improved the situation.
Right.
So, and we've done some other things. We work with the lodging companies to, so they can outreach to the visitors to let them know ahead of time. Hey, either bring a bag with you or, we have them here,
Right.
make available. So
Even the Front Range, right? All our day visitors, we'd
Sure,
love for them
sure.
to bring
Yeah.
their bags.
Pack your bag in your car and get yourself a little BYO bag magnet and remind yourself before you get out of the car. I think that's what we hear people struggle with a lot of times, is they leave their bags in the car. And what most people don't think about, I did this to myself for a while in order to create better habits, because I have kids who are like very, very passionate about reducing the use of single-use plastics. And so for a while, I'm like, if I forgot my bags, I would just have the people put all the groceries just back in my cart, because my bags were in the car. So I get out to my car, would throw all the pantry stuff in one bag, and it's awesome. I mean, that actually worked out really well. Or other times I bundled it up in my coat and carried it out that way. But there's a lot of ways to get around using a bag. Yeah.
I mean, the other day I remembered my bag, but I forgot my wallet.
Well, that's tough.
That's a little bit tougher. I had to, leave my groceries and go get it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be promoting it, right? People are going to see some ads and maybe a social media contest with some fun prizes.
Yeah, Haley, we've been working on that. We're really super excited. We hope that people really enjoy the creative. Like the town, we wanted to do something that was fun and funky. So we've been working with this great agency who's come up with a whole Bag Hero campaign. So you'll be seeing those on free ride buses, but it's really be a bag hero. You might see a skier skiing with their bags, or a biker with their bags in the summertime, or a moose perhaps with their shopping bags. So we're reminding people to bring their bags and shop when they shop local with us. But we're just super excited. We're working, partnering with RMU to do a sort of Where's Waldo? Take your picture with your bag around town, around the country, around the world, as creative as you can get.
Yeah.
And the winner, eventually we're going to be able to have a pair of RMU Breck bag skis to give away as part of that. So stay tuned for more information, because that's going to be a really fun contest.
It will be fun. So I think something that's important to know is that it's not just the bag. The bag is a part of a whole broader initiative, which is our Sustainable Breck initiative. So Mark, why don't you talk a little bit about that, the broader goals of this whole project?
Yeah, well, it started back in 2008 and 9 when Jen was on one of the initial committees that was involved in kind of putting the Sustainable Breck plan together, and we had a lot of public involvement. But since we put it together, we've done a lot of things. This was just one of the things we did to kind of, environmental stewardship kind of related, but we put in programs to encourage sustainable businesses, for businesses in town and for residences. There's programs available for free audits, stuff like that. But we've taken some big steps, like in the last year, with these commitments for 100% renewable energy. So that's been probably the biggest push in the last year, is to really make movement towards going towards 100% renewable energy, both for town facilities and eventually, hopefully, community-wide. That will require working with Xcel Energy to get there, but we obviously have done a lot of things already regarding renewables, such as you see the solar gardens out on the McCain property north of town along Highway 9, also out by the Wellington neighborhood and the Stilson property, and then we've done a lot of solar panels on town facilities like the rec center, police station, ice rink, stuff like that. So there's just a huge number of different initiatives that we've had underway in the last few years. LED light bulb giveaway or sale, cheap bulbs was another one. So we really just continue to, I think, step up our game in terms of sustainability, moving towards making us a more sustainable community.
Yeah, I mean, the free ride is up a lot. People are getting out of their cars, which we want. There's some talk of electric buses, correct?
Yeah.
Coming down the pipeline. And so I think there are a lot of ways for locals and businesses to get involved and, to go to our website and other things.
Yeah, well, and we look at sustainability, I think, not just around environmental purposes, but also like sustainability as a community. What does it mean? I mean, we have programs around house our workforce, right? So we work very hard on housing our workforce. Not only does that keep people in the community and keep the lights on, but we reduce 100,000 commuter miles on a weekly basis because of the workforce housing that we've been successful in building here in the community. So I think we think about sustainability not just in the most straightforward environmental way, but really what does it take for us over the long term to continue to be the charming and wonderful place that we are today, whether it's in water use or build out and how we treat density, how we treat and think about water. You know, it was work that we did with Sustainable Breck that helped us lead to the conclusion that we really need that second water plant, and that we need to be thinking about how we're charging for water and making sure that people realize what a valuable resource that is, creating a water ethic in the community. So I think this is something that really permeates so many places of our local community, and it's not just in the way that people typically think about sustainability. It's not just recycling, it's more.
Right.
So.
Right, Mark, to you.
Yeah. Jen said it right there. I mean, it's really a comprehensive approach to sustainability. Including economic sustainability.
Yeah, right.
So it's all tied together. So
yeah, I mean, what's great is the tagline for a lot of our marketing is keeping Breck clean and green, and whether that's from our trees or whether that's green as far as sustainability. I think what's cool is there's such community buy-in to really keeping our community a beautiful place to visit and a sustainable place to visit. So everyone, you can go and get your bags at the Welcome Center, correct?
Absolutely.
Pretty soon.
The Rec Center.
Rec Center, lodging, a bunch of different businesses and organizations will have them across town, and we will keep you updated as far as marketing and social media campaigns. But we look forward to seeing more of these around town, and everyone remember to bring your own bag.